Thump, thump, rumble, rumble, rumble. I could only stand there, dumbfounded, as she tumbled down the stairs with incredible speed. It all happened so suddenly that I couldn't even say a word. Then, my mom shamelessly spoke to me.
I must be getting old. I just slipped. But goodness, falling down the stairs like that, it's dangerous for the baby. Well, she deserved it, speaking to me like that. Karma, perhaps. It would be better if both she and the child just disappeared. Goodbye to both of them.
She waved her hand lightly. Does she realize what she's done? Because what she just pushed down was, I'm Michael, a 28-year-old working in real estate agent. There was a time when people said the real estate market in the US wouldn't do well because of the population decline, but those with money kept investing in luxury condos, keeping the market lively. And me, I've been doing quite well for myself, handling luxury properties for these wealthy clients. My wife, Emily, and I get along great, thanks to our shared hobbies. No issues with my income or my family life. It's been like a picture-perfect everyday happiness. Someone might say that one day, my life will be thrown into the abyss. And indeed, something did happen just recently. All because of my mom, or, to Emily, her mill. My mom left when I was just a kid. I was only 5, and my parents were both 22. My mom was quite a beauty from a young age and was very popular with the guys. So, she was always getting attention from the guys around her, and it just became the usual thing. In the midst of all that, it was my dad who captured my mom's heart. My dad won her over after numerous proposals, and she finally gave in. From my dad's perspective, marrying my mom was probably the happiest moment of his life because he married a woman everyone envied. All they had left was to create a happy family together, but it didn't go smoothly because my mom didn't like the modest life she had with my dad. Perhaps it was inevitable. Until then, she always had men at her beck and call, everything going her way. But as soon as they got married, she found herself confined to the house, dealing with chores and child care. So, it might have been expected when she ran off with the household money and a stranger. Those were tough times for my dad, losing his wife and money. But he still managed to raise me and send me to college. I'm forever grateful to him. That's why, right after graduating from college, I immediately started working hard, driven by a single-minded desire to repay my dad and give him an easier life as soon as possible. Thanks to my efforts, I quickly made a name for myself in the real estate business, even setting a record for the youngest sales performance achiever at my company. But just when I thought I could finally repay my dad, he passed away. What a tragic life he led. I resented my mom for leaving, yet at the same time, I wanted to see her again, my only family. Even if legally we were strangers. She reappeared years later, around the time I met and married Emily. By then, I was somewhat known in the industry. Not to brag, but I think I inherited my mom's good looks. I believe I'm quite attractive. So, when there were real estate segments on TV or in magazines, I was often the one they called upon. It seems my mom came to know about me through one of those appearances. My mom thought the boy she gave up long ago was now doing well, so she decided to come see me.
I've missed you. What was your name again? Alex, was it? You've grown into such a handsome man.
This was the first thing she said when we met. Can't believe she even forgot her own son's name. But filled with half resentment and half longing, I was still glad to see her. Mom, long time no see. How have you been? By the way, my name is Michael, I said, my heart full to bursting, barely holding back tears. But soon after, her next words made the tears I had been holding back quickly disappear.
Upright, Michael. Oh well, listen, could you lend me some money? You're making a lot, right?
She didn't come to see me. She just came to ask for money. I was taken aback. Now it seemed foolish to have held back tears and felt my heart swell, thinking it was a touching reunion. But she's still my only family after all, and she must have had her own hardships. So, I ended up giving her money just this once.
Just this once. Only this time, okay. Hey, Michael.
With her saying that, I thought to myself, just this once. However, just like in comics, this one-time occurrence ended up being repeated many times thereafter.
Hey, honey, about your mother.
The time has finally come.
Today in the afternoon, this woman claiming to be Michael's mom came by, saying she's struggling and asked for some money. And since she had a photo of Michael on her phone and seemed to know him, I ended up giving her some. Was that okay?
I never gave my mom our address. In fact, I had been avoiding her calls lately because she started asking for money more often, and now she's started coming to our house. I don't want to know how she found out where we live, but right now, I'm more worried about Emily. I'm sorry, I think I've mentioned this before, but I actually have a mom I was separated from. However, she left us for another man when I was little, so honestly, I don't really think of her as my mom. And lately, she's been coming around asking for money. Even though she's my mom, I've been trying to keep my distance. I'm really sorry I didn't tell you. Emily forgave me right away when I apologized. I had told her about my mom before, so she understood the situation.
Then, as an apology, you owe me tickets to the next wrestling match.
Typical Emily always knows how to lighten the mood. Emily and I share a love for wrestling. That's actually how we met, at a wrestling event. So, whenever I need to apologize, Emily suggests making it up to her with wrestling.
Considering the situation, it's understandable. I really wanted to meet your mother properly and celebrate our child together.
Emily rubbed her belly. There's a baby on the way, mine and Emily's. We're about 8 months along and just starting to get ready for the birth. But that's why I don't want to worry Emily. If anything happened to her or our baby, I won't forgive myself. I'm the only one who can protect my family. I need to have a serious talk with my mom. That's what I was thinking, but it was hard to bring it up. Maybe a part of me still longs for her, but if I had been firmer back then, Emily and our baby wouldn't have been dragged into this mess. Reflecting on it now, I feel like giving my past indecisive self a good punch. A few days later, we were at the OBGYN clinic. We had been going to a small clinic nearby, but when a potential issue was detected with the baby, we came to a larger hospital for a thorough checkup. Fortunately, the tests showed that the baby was fine, and we were relieved. But we were told to keep coming to the larger hospital for observation until the birth. As we were about to head home, Relieved, my mom appeared.
Well, what a coincidence. I can't believe I'd bump into my dear child here.
I don't know how she tracked us down, but I was seriously creeped out. Mom, why did you come all this way? What do you want?
What? How could you say that? My precious son was heading to the hospital, and I was just so worried sick. I had to come along.
She's not worried about me, she's worried about my money, isn't she? I thought to myself, you're right.
Right? Are you feeling ill anywhere? Do you have insurance? If you're getting a life expectancy announcement, make sure I'm the beneficiary. Okay.
These words made even calm and gentle Emily visibly angry.
Mom, how can you say such a thing to your own son? Look, we're here not because something's wrong with Michael, but for a checkup for our baby. Can't you see this belly?
Then, as if she just realized it, my mom casually mentioned,
Oh, you were here. I have no business with a cold woman who won't give me money when I visit her house.
Money, money, money. What do you think you're doing with the money Michael's worked so hard to earn? Our money is being saved for our unborn child. It doesn't matter that you're Michael's mother. We don't have a single cent left to give you.
What is with this woman? Not giving money for the sake of a child. If you're going to be like that, I have my ways too. You'll regret this later.
With that, my mom left. Emily spoke up for me, saying what I should have said myself. I thanked Emily, but I have to admit, I was a bit taken aback by how fierce she can get when she's angry, especially considering how gentle and rarely upset she usually is. However, the last words my mom said, those words give me only a bad feeling. This is a crucial time for Emily and our baby. If my mom does something to them now, I don't know if I could ever recover from that. I just hope nothing happens.
Really, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, isn't it?
Emily still seemed furious. The good she was referring to happened earlier at the hospital, where Emily met her favorite wrestler. Her name was Lynn, and she was incredibly popular as a female wrestler for a while. I had been wondering why she hadn't been appearing in matches or on TV recently, but it turns out she was expecting to. When we greeted her, Lynn's belly was already quite large, and she said she was just a few days away from giving birth. I felt like I was barging in during such an important time, but Emily was totally cool with it. After all, her idol and the athlete she greatly admires is right there in front of her. She couldn't control of herself anymore. Emily went on and on to Lynn about how much she adored her favorite plays, and that move from a match on a specific date against a certain opponent. She just couldn't stop talking. Lynn's husband, Tom, also a wrestler, could only give a wry smile, but Lynn listened kindly and nodded along to Emily's excited fan talk.
During matches, Lynn plays the villain role, but outside the ring, she's actually a really kind and amazing person.
Emily said excitedly on our way home. And just to add, Emily kept talking about Lynn until we went to bed, and I ended up having a nightmare about being chased by someone as tough as Lynn. Indeed, Lynn seemed well respected by her juniors, with many attendants coming and going from her hospital room. Running into my mom at the hospital, or rather being stalked by her, was definitely a low point, but meeting Lynn more than made up for it, isn't it? That day, that's what we talked about. And ever since, every time we went to that hospital, we made sure to visit Lynn's room. And each time, Emily would go on endlessly with her fan talk about Lynn. So, we had almost completely forgotten about the ominous words my mom had left us with. Never would I have imagined my mom would do something like that. It happened just like any other day as we were leaving Lynn's room after a checkup. Lynn had an unusual request for us that day, and both Emily and I gladly accepted. But as we were about to go down the stairs at the hospital, it happened.
Oops, my hand slipped.
As I was helping her down the stairs, a voice came from behind us. Shockingly, it was my mom pushing her down the stairs. Thump, thump. Rumble, rumble, rumble. I could only stand there, dumbfounded, as she tumbled down the stairs with incredible speed. It all happened so suddenly that I couldn't even say a word. Then, my mom shamelessly spoke to me.
I must be getting old. I just slipped. But goodness, falling down the stairs like that, it's dangerous for the baby. Well, she deserved it, speaking to me like that. Karma, perhaps. It would be better if both she and the child just disappeared. Goodbye to both of them.
She waved her hand lightly. Does she realize what she's done? Because what she just pushed down was, Mom, she's not my wife.
What?
It hurts, you old hag. What the hell did you do?
We heard a scary, angry yell coming from downstairs, like some monster from hell,
What? Who?
glaring at us from below with an intense expression. Wasn't the usually gentle but scary when angry Emily, but Lynn.
I won't forgive what you've done. I'm taking this to the police. Or would you rather settle this right here, huh?
Lynn had already climbed up the stairs and stood right in front of my mom. The expression was downright terrifying. With her deep voice adding to her fierce look, my mom looked like a deer caught in headlights.
I was just, trying to surprise my daughter-in-law. Yay, it was a prank. This was all just a prank. I never meant to actually push.
Who in the world pushes their daughter-in-law down the stairs as a joke? Don't mess with me, huh?
Yikes. Michael, help me. We're family, right?
My mom, terrified by Lynn, pleaded for my help. Cutting me off before I could speak, Lynn turned to me.
Listen here. Can you really call a woman who pushes her loved ones down the stairs mother? As a man, as a father, are you really okay with this?
Lynn winked at me. So, she knows everything. She understands it all and is telling me this. Even if she's the woman who gave birth to me, she's crossed a line that shouldn't be crossed. Above all, I have a duty to protect my beloved wife and our baby. I'm sure my dad in heaven would forgive me for what I'm about to do. No, this woman is not my mom. We're not even related by registration. She's just a stranger. Lynn then gave me a smile. Lynn looks cute when she smiles. I'll keep that to myself.
Arrest her on the spot. You guys, grab this woman and hand her over to the cops.
Suddenly, the people around us sprang into action. Looking around, they were all familiar faces. Yes, they were Lynn and Tom's assistants. So, it was them all along. I was left in awe of Lynn. A few days later, the tabloid shows were buzzing with headlines like popular wrestler Lynn pushed downstairs by a fan. After my mom was taken to the police by Lynn's assistants, journalists from weekly magazines and tabloid shows flooded in. A former popular wrestler being pushed down the stairs at a hospital was big news, especially since it happened at the maternity ward. Everyone was speculating about a possible miscarriage, but there was no need to worry, because by that time, Lynn had already given birth to a healthy baby boy. That day, when we visited Lynn's hospital room, she asked us for a favor. Having given birth, she was told she needed to stay in the hospital for a few more days. But she was getting restless. So, she asked if Emily and she could switch places for a while, so she could sneak outside. Emily, being a huge fan, agreed before I could say anything. So, the person I was helping down the stairs wasn't Emily, but Lynn. They both had similar hairstyles and builds, and Lynn had stuffed cushions under her clothes to mimic a pregnant belly so she wouldn't be recognized. I wondered why she went to such lengths, but it soon became clear. Lynn, pushed down the stairs by my mom, used her skills as a wrestler to take the fall safely, cushioning her fall with the actual cushions. But why would Lynn go to such lengths for us, just fans? We didn't deserve such a sacrifice from her. When I asked Lynn, she shared her thoughts with me.
Actually, I was thinking about retiring from wrestling after having my child. Even though I used to be somewhat popular, I'm getting older, and not as many people show up anymore. That's when I met you and Emily. Emily is really amazing. She remembers every single one of my matches and tells me what she liked best about each one, which moves were the best. And most of all, Emily's eyes light up when she talks about me. Seeing that made me realize something. I have fans who care about me this much. So, retirement can go to hell. That's why you two owe me a big favor, one I could never repay in a lifetime. That's when I heard about your mother from Emily, and my assistants told me they overheard her planning something no good at the hospital. So, that day, I decided to put on an act.
So, we thought we were the ones receiving so much from Lynn, but it turns out we were giving her something invaluable as well. All of this was thanks to Emily, an overly enthusiastic fan. There's one more thing I have to thank Lynn for. It's about my mom. After being handed over to the police that day and unable to refute the numerous testimonies against her, my mom was charged with assault. Even though it was an assault charge, thanks to Lynn, she didn't end up with a prison sentence, just a fine of about $5,000. Of course, I had no intention of covering that fine for her, but Lynn paid the fine on her behalf, with one condition. In exchange for paying the fine, my mom was required to work as a servant at the wrestling office. Live-in, of course. The place is full of tough women, and there's no man around who'd listen to her whining. It'll be a good lesson for her. Perhaps she'll break away from the wrong crowd and improve her personality a bit. As for me, work and home life have been nothing but smooth sailing, almost frighteningly happy. There's just one thing that's been bothering me.
Let's name the baby Lynn.
Ever since that incident, Emily has become even more passionate about Lynn, and now she's insisting on naming our child after her. I need to sort this out soon. It's been on my mind lately. Maybe next time we visit Lynn's place, I can get her to talk Emily out of it. That's where my story ends. From here on out, I'll be the one to protect this family as a father,